So good evening, everyone. Good evening, Prem Sai, Nikhil, Tuja, Sajan, Harshal. Areva, we have uh, uh, Akshay Lakshmi. That's what we need on a Friday. It's very positive to see an Akshay Lakshmi on a Friday. Friday is a day of Lakshmi. We have Mayank Gupta, Neha, and others. Fantastic. So, hi, Akshay. Uh, so I when we start a session, typically we have a little bit of fun with the participants. We just say hi to each other. It's good to interact with each other a little bit while we let other people join. We'll get started in a few minutes. So who can tell me? Let me ask a fun stuff. So today, as you know, that our guest speaker is from Accenture. His name is Shreshth Vashisth. तो इनके नाम में निखिल जी there are two things, two very important things. One is the Shrestha part, and the other one is the Vashisht part, right? So let me ask if any of the audiences can tell me without looking at without googling or playing a trick, what is the meaning of the word Shrestha?
Best.
Like, you can unmute yourself and speak. I've not muted anybody.
Yeah, best. I'm telling best.
Best or
Another
excellent?
name for Lord Vishnu?
वो तो उपमा दी जाती है. It's not a real name for Lord Vishnu, but you can उपमा देते हैं. मतलब you can say he's a Shrestha, you know. But yeah, I mean the generic meaning for that Hindi word is excellent or best. That's what is there. And I'm admitting more people as I keep talking. So now, who knows who was Vashishta?
Superior.
Vashishta, Shrestha nahi, Vashishta, Neha.
Okay.
Vashisht तो एक मुनि थे. Vashishta was one of the Saptarishis. But if and all, I hope everybody's from India.
Yeah, he was, I think, like pioneer, like Mahabharata, if I'm not wrong. I think I'm wrong.
This is a fun question from a hiring manager. Imagine what's the meaning of the word Vashishta. So everybody said, I mean, Vashishta, of course, is known for his wisdom, his spiritual knowledge. All the munis and ancient saints were known for that. So Vashisht is a revered figure in Hindu mythology. महाभारत तो बाद में आता है बाबा. महाभारत से पहले somebody else.
Any,
Ramayana. What was Vashishta's role in Ramayana? Okay, let me ask it another way. Because I'm happy to meet some wonderful Indians today. uh, who was the guru of Lord Rama?
that was Rishi Vashisht only.
Exactly. So he had to do with Rama. He was one of the Saptarishis, and he has to do with the he has to do with Rama. He was a guru of he's a guru and a royal priest. He was a chief priest. He was the one who got Rama married to his wife Sita, right? So as you can see, a hiring manager typically can ask some fun questions, or a team lead when you ask to break ice. This is how you break ice. You ask the meaning of the name, you get the group going, and then you invite the speaker, which I'm going to do now in front of you. So welcome, Shrestha Vashisth. Now that everybody knows the meaning of your name, you have two great qualities. Not only you're best and excellent in what you do, you also have a lot of wisdom and knowledge. So today we've all gathered here to understand you, to learn from you, to welcome you, and Our Prem Sai here prepares beautiful food. So if you get invited by Prem Sai for wonderful dinner or lunch, don't be surprised.
Yes.
Prem Sai stays in Gujarat, but he's an excellent cook. He's very happy to share a meal, share a adrak chai or coffee with the participants. He doesn't invest more time in me. He runs away from me. Um, so Shrestha, what we're going to do today is, and is it possible for you to switch on the video now?
Yes, it's just
And anybody else in the audience, I need at least one person to switch on their video if possible.
I hope I'm visible right.
Yes, sir, you're visible. Um, I was imagining a more younger person. You look like you really look like Shrestha and Vashishtha. You personify both of them. Uh, so, is there any person in the audience who would also like to be visible on screen? Akshay Lakshmi, I hope you're not in office or something. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. Oh, you're at off. I know some people are at office and they still want to take advantage of the sessions. It's okay. Um, Shrestha has been having a work from home kind of a thing and finished his work, and I'm sure he wants to get back to it as soon as possible. Later on, he might have to catch up with. There's always something to catch up when you're working. So usually this is how we start. We typically ask a person when we invite a guest speaker and we want to learn about their life. We typically ask them a little bit about their personal background. Most of the people like to ask them about you know what were the biggest challenge, and there's some questions on career transition. Then we have, during the conversation, we also talk a little bit about everything. For example, we talk about achievements, we talk about the project they've done. uh, we talk about what lessons they have learned as they move from their schooling to graduation to where they are currently, what all lessons they learned, what are the most valuable lessons learned. We also talk about, everybody, when they go through experiences, they have some unexpected insights. There are some expected insights and there are some unexpected insights. So I will talk a little bit about them if I get a chance. We will also talk about fun things like how does Shreshth Vashisth stay motivated? How does he? I mean, I'm sure many of you are curious, especially if you're a fresher or if you've worked for a year or two. You're curious about uh, ha- have all his clients been fun people, great to work with? Because everybody gets one or two clients which are you have to work along with them, you have to get along with them, you have to keep moving. But there are difficult clients on a project, and sometimes we have to just handle them, manage them, work as best as we can. We have to find workaround, we have to learn to mitigate them, handle them maturely. So we will talk about that also. We'll also talk about um, everybody when they're going through their life journey, the 10th standard, the 12th standard, the graduation, the whatever diploma or degrees you go through. Everybody has some misconceptions about a particular profession when they start. For example, once upon a time, I trained as a commercial pilot. Um, I was at 19 years of age. I was a full-fledged commercial pilot. Um, I was one of the youngest pilot from Delhi Flying Club. I had also been to indoor flying club because my cross country flights used to be between uh, Delhi. Sorry, between Delhi and then Bhopal to Indore. Those were the three areas where I did most of my flying. And I used to think that, hey, if I become a pilot, which was my hobby, if I become a pilot, I am going to look like Ravish Khanna, or sorry, Ravish Malhotra, because those were the. If you remember, long time back, there were two pilots who went to space for the first time. Um, I cannot remember the second gentleman. The one was Ravish Malhotra. Um, or I'm going to, or I will, I'll look very fancy in my, the wings and the white dress that I used to have and the pant. I'm going to look smart, and everybody will be wanting to know me. Everybody will. Yeah. It's a great, lucrative, fun career. I'll probably be flying Air India, and I'll always be going to big hotels, and I'll always be doing this. And so there were a lot of dreams as a young child, because once upon a time, even I was 19. Now I'm 50, right? So, so the point is, we're going to talk about some misconceptions that you have about the dreams versus reality in a particular career. Everybody has them. I haven't seen anybody who does not have a few misconceptions here or there, and how we address them, of course. And then the last two questions are going to be, we will ask Shrestha some advice. You know, does he have, suppose there are a lot of beginners in the audience, what advice can he give to people? Because some people like to ask, how do I start my career? I've just completed my graduation. I have no idea how to become a data analyst. What will you advise? What should I do first? What should I do second? What should I do third? And then I like to ask them, how do they balance? Because every person who's a data analyst, and Shrestha is a data analyst at Accenture, you have to ask them, how do you balance your technical skills as well as other non-technical skills? For example, you have to be decent at communication, you have to understand people, you have to be good at organizing things, you have to be good at a lot of things, which perhaps Shrestha has all those qualities. Obviously, that's why he's working for an MNC currently. And he's at a juncture where um, he may have other changes in the future, but at this time, he's happily engaged with his current role profile. Um, so now that I've given you guys an idea of, a generic idea of what all we might talk about, let's begin with the first question. And this is guys, I keep saying that this is not an interview session. This is assume that Shrestha is our friend. He's a and For freshers, he's a senior friend. For more experienced people, he's a colleague. He's a partner. He's a COE. Most of all, he's a COE member. He's sharing his experiences as if he's sitting among family members and just generally having a chat. So that is the context with which I'm going to ask the questions. So let us start with the first question, Shrestha, if you're ready.
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you. Um, when let's start from a childhood instead of your professional experience, right? Let's begin at the beginning. You know, where you are, if you remember your 10th, 11th, 12th, we are very active during those years, because all the uncles or the aunties, all the competition, everybody is focused. Other than our own parents, the mohalle ka auntie, the lady who's there, even the chai wala on the street will know that if Shrestha bhaiya ka his 10th standard is going on, उसके board exams होंगे 10वीं 12वीं के for 10th and 12th standard. So from your days in school, do you remember yourself as a super bright student, Mr. Einstein, or do you recall yourself as more active in sports, athletic background? What was your, if you recall those days? And I know I'm taking you in the past. You're sitting in
Yes,
time
yes.
machine, taking you in the past. What do you remember most about your schooling days? What was the most memorable experience?
Yes. So first of all, thank you, Arun, for inviting me to the session.
So, like as you asked, in my childhood, most of us in my generation, I was a bright student till the class, standard 10th, and also also being actively involved in sports. If many of us don't know, our ex-captain MS Dhoni is an alumni from my school only. So
Yo, cool, man, cool. That's like a pride moment. So I knew that there has to be something special about your school. You're Dhoni from your school. Wow.
yes, yes. So, by default, all the students of our school had a particular interest in sports.
Mhm.
So, but after passing the 10th, my grades fell down, which I don't hesitate to tell. But it didn't matter in the long run. Like I learned a lot. I learned some physical stuffs. I was totally involved into sports in my school days as well as my college days. So, after 10th, I chose science as my background to
Mhm.
pursue my career further, as my elder brother was also from science. So, most of us seek someone at that particular time to for a particular guidance on how to proceed and how to focus on career.
Hmm.
So that's how most of my childhood went in my native place.
Fantastic. That must be fun. So Shrestha, you probably don't know this about me. I have a younger brother myself. Now I chose science background. And I was the first batch of computer science when my schooling started. But my brother chose not to follow my footsteps. He rebelled, uh, and he went to Gujarat, where he studied from. And I'm happy to tell Prem Sai this because Prem Sai is sitting in Gujarat. So in Vallabh Vidyanagar, he did his uh, graduation, etc. Because he chose commerce. Anyhow, but thank you for sharing that personal background, the memorable experience that you had. So once
Sure.
you finished your 10th and 12th standard, typically people that we are at a juncture where we have to choose our careers. So based upon how you did or performed, or based upon your interests, or based upon parents and teachers telling you stuff, how did you go about choosing your career? What do I do next?
Yes, Arun. As I told, I chose science as my option in my higher studies. So there was a subject called computer science, which involved C, C++, basics sort of programming. So instead of all the other subjects, I had a keen interest in that particular field. That's why I decided to go with BTech as my graduation, and I chose the field of information technology to pursue and go along with the data field.
Fantastic. So did I hear you? Did I hear you correct that you pursued your engineering degree after that?
Yes, yes, yes. Bachelor of Technology.
Fantastic. And as you were pursuing your engineering degree, you had first year, second year, third year, fourth year. What do you remember most out of your, during, because those are the days when we are away from the family, we are away from the house. Majority of people, we make new friends, we mix with a variety of people. Some are badmash types, some are studious types, some are fun types, we meet all kind of characters, and we go through a transformation slowly, gradually it happens. That's the time probably the guys learn to take their first non-approved beverage. The girls learn, that's also a time where typically the girls learn to, hey, I can have a night out, which my mom used to tell me that I need to get back by 7:38, but I can. So you have good, I mean, I was talking about the fun stuff, but uh, but also there is a lot of learning that happens, because you learn. First year is typically okay, second year onwards you start learning, and obviously as you uh, by the time fourth year arrives, you really become serious that, hey, all the fun times have come to an end. Think of Three Idiots. The fun time comes to an end. Abhi aage we have to apply. We have to apply for jobs. So so I have the first question I have is, how was how was your college life? what all things you learned and what are some of the things that did not work for you?
Yes, sir. So like my college days were a bit of mix of both ups and downs. Like first, it was most of us like stepping out from our home and from our comfort zone for the first time, meeting new people, a completely new environment, and engaging with entirely unknown set of people. So it was a bit of a tedious task to like adjust in the very beginning. But with time, you sort of tend to make friends, you sort of tend to adjust, and moreover what I prefer is like every each one of us in our teens once must they should go to a hostel or live in a hostel or some kind of a that kind of an environment, because that doesn't just help us in improving our technical skills or our educational skills. It improves us as a person, like our personality develops along with it. We tend to learn a lot of things rather than education. Our personality develops. We went out for the first time to like manage our economics. So like exposure is totally needed. Yes, correctly said.
Yeah, and I know Kritika is a great fan. Whenever she hears some fun story, she's always, giving thumbs up, love signs, and flowers and claps, and so I appreciate all the you guys can send flowers, love if you like or love the questions are being asked or how Shreshth Vashisth is answering them. Please feel free to you know show those emojis. They let us know that you are alive. You're actually participating as an audience. You're doing the job of an audience is equally important. Okay, so I totally agree with you, Shreshth Vashisth. I love to pronounce your name. uh, so the reason I agree with you is, so in my particular case, I I have been out of my right from 11th standard because I had already started uh, flying in Delhi Flying Club. Um, and after that, I'd gone to Indore Bhopal Flying Club. So I had started doing those things like because I got a scholarship to do that. Um, so what is common among us is I was out of my house uh, by the time I finished my 11th standard, and everything, the graduation, post graduation, the super specialization, all of those things. The next, I never went back to, I never came back to Delhi. I'm originally from, like, my school life has been in Delhi, um, and I never got back to Delhi ever again. I traveled all over India, traveled all over abroad, did a lot of things. So you probably did not know that about me, and I think I don't usually share about myself as well, but today I thought the Shreshth Vashisth must know this. Okay, so 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 you were saying that you had some ups and downs, you learned a lot, um, and w- talk to me about one particular challenge that you faced during your engineering life or technology life, and how did you overcome that? The reason
Yes, sir.
you can appreciate Shrestha, I know you and I are very prepared for these kind of questions. Even if somebody wakes up in the middle of the night and asks a question, we are
True.
prepared. The reason why we ask these questions to our guests is because we, regardless of what way they answer the questions, it is a learning exercise, particularly for the people who are about to take interviews, particularly for the people who are freshers. They get to hear different perspectives from different guest speakers that we have, and it's a great learning exercise. So um, pick up any one challenge that you had during the 4 years of your graduation, and how did you overcome that?
Yes, sure. So, like as I mentioned earlier, like one of the most exciting challenge which I faced was in my initial days when I went to the hostel, like stepped out from the home for the first time, away from my family, and not being able to like interact with people, not having friends around. Like it took me around 3, 4 initial 5, 6 months to just indulge around people and like make friends and then communicate. Like as you said, sir, like all kinds of people are there. Some are good, some are bad, some are more aggressive, some are less. So like it takes time for everyone to adjust and find their own belongings and find their own circle. So like I it took me around initial 4 to 6 months to find my circle, and post that my entire college life has been smooth. It's been a sailing journey for me throughout my initial days to the placement is when I left the college. And also, like one of the most difficult times, which I wanted to mention here, like as I am a 2020 pass out, everyone knows that COVID hit that year. So, being in the final year, we weren't able to like, as you know, sir, the last days of our college life are supposed to be one of the most memorable days in our life.
Joyous days, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you couldn't fully enjoy your last year because the there was worry, there was fear, there was a stress, not only for you personally, but also there'll be some stress at the family level that hey, this guy's worked so hard in his so far, and now because of COVID, there are so many restrictions and limitations. So I understand how you what were the challenges. I think these are the common challenges of most people in that batch time
Yes.
frame. All right, so let's move on. After we finished your 10th and 12th, and we finished your engineering. So what happened after that? Now is the time when you have to decide. Oh my God, ये COVID कब खत्म होगा? When will it finish? And मेरा मैं मजाक करता हूँ. In a joking manner, I say मेरा औहदा की होगा, मेरे सैलरी. Whenever I see Nikhil Uppal, I always say this. मेरा औहदा की होगा, मेरी पगार की होगी, which means how much will be my salary, what will be my title, designation, what will be the role, will there be placement कितने. अरे वाह, Kritika Jan is helping me a lot. Placement कितने है? So did you have like an active college placement cell, or or you had many majority of the students had to like search for jobs on their own? How did it work out for you?
Yes, sir. So, like in my college, my placement cell was highly active, and like we didn't need to go out and hunt for job on our own basis, like most of the people used to do at that time for during the uh, upcoming pandemic. So people were fearing. So our own placement cell was totally active on it, and basically for me, like my joining was scheduled to be on May, but due to COVID hitting, like it was delayed, and we were left with a question mark. So we were left with a scary thought that what will happen next. So like after ending my after giving my final exams, like we were left with a scary thought that how will we proceed further? Like it was supposed to be in a month now. 2 months have passed. We aren't receiving anything to proceed with our career. But eventually, and slowly, as the world adapted the work from home, so I was onboarded on the month of October, like 3 months delayed from my supposed to be date. But like as I said, like I have always been interested into technology languages like C++ in my initial days. So I fell in love with SQL, structured query language, during my college days. So because of which only I got the placement for which I was targeting, and also I was trained on that particular role as well in my company when I joined it.
I understand. So Shreshth Vashisth, which means best, and the sage, you have the wisdom and learning like Vashisth for people who joined late. I will ask this quiz question: what is the meaning of Shrestha and what is the meaning of Vashisth? And who was Vashisth the guru of? Was he guru of Krishna or Rama? He was guru of one of the top names in India, the gods of India. This is a general knowledge question which everybody should be able to answer, which many of the people failed. Uh, uh, Arey Vah, Kritika Jain has a correct answer. So thank you, Kritika, for that fantastic feedback. So Shrestha, what was happening? I'll tell you what was happening. So during during the time you were in India and you were left, you studied hard, you struggled, you had ups and downs, as you're preparing for your fourth year, you described your challenges. What was happening in the US was similar, but obviously, I mean, India has a huge population, and it's not easy to manage the masses as well as some of the places abroad can do. So we had um, so in US also. So I'm a US citizen. I've been in US for more than 25, 26 years. um, what was going on at that time was in US was that majority of us were having the same but not us, I mean the youngsters, the younger people. Let's say somebody like you, if he's in US, they were having the similar fears, similar doubts of what's going to happen. The placements had dried up. I mean, the placement cell was active and everything, but the placements at large had dried up. However, once the vaccination thing came up, the first vaccination, you can take a second dose, you can take a third dose. At that point, slowly there was a positive sentiment in the market. Yeah, I know Amazon. Katka is saying Amazon canceled offers, and so many people canceled offers, and so many ups and downs happened there. However, the salaries during the pandemic period went sky high because it was very difficult for people to find. It was very difficult for companies to find people to take the right roles. So, for example, if I needed a senior data scientist or a senior data analyst, trust me, it was difficult to find a senior data analyst with the right qualifications, because not only the senior data analyst is he's not coming to the office, and that's okay with us because we're using all these communication tools. But the difficulty part even for the hiring managers was that how do we keep this guy motivated? How do we know he's not working for two people at the same time? How do we do this and how do we do that? So those challenges were there. And whether the person that we are calling a senior analyst, whom we or a lead data analyst, how does will this lead data analyst have the capacity to work with the younger members of our team and guide them? Will we be able to, as a company, will we be able to serve our clients? So I'm telling you, the 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 worry, the stress was mutual, both from the hiring side as well as the candidate side. Although candidates always like to feel that question mark is only on their side, there's a question mark on both sides. So many people fail to see the side of the interviewers or hiring managers. Even today in India, if you talk about any city, there are so many opportunities, but it's just difficult to find the right person for the right job because of a variety of reasons. But I can assure you that even today, for the right candidate who has developed the right skills, there is no dearth of good jobs if they are going through whatever skill set they're good at it. Resume optimization, LinkedIn optimization, ATS score, communication, attitude, aptitude. So all those, it's a mixture of all the things which you have to learn to be successful and nail the job interview. That's how it happens. And there is never, I will repeat myself because I've proven this every single time, and I've um, in my own life, and the people that I've guided have also proven this to me, and I'm more proud of them rather than my own success. That there is no dearth of good jobs for the right people who are able to understand a mix of things, absorb it, and then implement it. Having said that, let's move on to the next question. So we understood the challenges you faced. So how did you nail your first client? How you must have you everybody would have been proud of you. We have a party with the colleagues when we get our first offer. Parents are proud of us, and and inside we feel like elated. So when was the first time you felt like I have conquered the world. Ab to nikal padi.
Uh, no, sir, I didn't feel so like very much often. Like I feel that we need to be stay like down to earth, like on our zone only. So like that moment, as I can mention, is that during my placement days only, where I bagged four offers for different MNCs, including on product based. But eventually, like as I said, I discussed with my seniors who were a part of all the different MNCs for which I was offered. So I spoke to them. I spoke about the work culture, the learning, and how should I proceed further. And after sort of reviews and also after going through like researching on my own, well, I chose Accenture to be my path of career for the future.
Mm,
So
fantastic. So, so Accenture was your first opportunity that you got.
yes, sir.
So tell us a little bit about, I mean, your, your role was a data analyst, I believe. So, um, when we are in college, we have some perceptions about what our first job is going to be like, what the company is going to be like, and some, like I was talking to Nilay yesterday, and we typically have a perception we'll go to the company and the company will give us a red carpet treatment. हमारे लिए दो लोग खड़े होंगे welcome committee में. You have, hey, Shreshth Vashisth, you have arrived. You're one of the Shreshthas and Vashishtas, and why don't you? We are rolling a carpet. Please have some good food in our canteen. Here is the. We'll walk you, uh, around the company. We'll show you the departments. We'll make you meet your manager, your manager's manager. You'll meet your team, and and then you can have lunch. And today you don't need to work too much. You can leave whenever you want to leave, if it's just the first day. And the second day they came and gave you your, you found your laptop ready, uh, laptop, your phone. They gave you a cell phone and said, "Hey, you can use this." Yeah, thank you, Kartika. Again, they gave you an entire welcome kit and said, um, basically a red carpet treatment. I can go on and on, but basically they gave you a red carpet treatment. So does that, I'm not talking in person about one particular company. In general, what has been your experience? Does every organization, and I want to clear the misconception of some freshers there, do they have, does every company, in your opinion, give a red carpet treatment? Everything is organized. You have a laptop, you have everything, and you're like, the first person that meets you says, "Yay, Shrestha, welcome to be welcome." Unki awaaz, the tone is different, the voice is different, and they're excited to see you. Does that happen usually?
No, Arun, actually, like breaking the ice here and breaking the truth in front of all the freshers who are willing to join a corporate company. Like, it's not so. As in our college days, also, like initially, when we go to a new place, we, as a human nature, we take some time to adjust and meet new people along with it. And also, in my case, it was a little bit difficult as it was all virtually going on. There was no physical meeting and like interacting with people or my leads. So like it took us a lot of initial 2 3 months to bit of indulge into the culture. Like just after stepping out of the college, you are not like waking up at 8 a.m. to so report at 9 a.m. So it's sort of a bit of a difficult in the initial phase. But once you develop interest, you flow along with it.
Gotcha. Um, so tell us, like I said, I'm going to talk about achievements. Tell us about your first achievement in your work profile at your job, where you felt, hey, yes, now I've achieved something. I have a feather in my cap. I did my first project successfully or first assignment successfully. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. Like initially, after the train case was completed, I was allocated to a particular project, and 6 months down the line, after a lot of hard work and interaction with the clients and stakeholders, providing the insights about all the work and progress going on, I was awarded with a client value creation award at the end of the project. So, for which my leads, even the my team leads or my mentors, which were not a part of the project, appreciated my efforts. Also, I got an appreciation mail from the client as well. So at that particular time, I felt that I have added a feather in my cap during my corporate life.
Fabulous. So this award that came for creating value for the client, can you
Yes.
specify, like if you were asked metrics, what kind of value did you think they appreciated? What value were you able to create?
Yes, sir. So, like basically, the first value which I felt and which I also got as an answer from my colleagues, that which I was able to create, was the on-time deliverables. Most of my deliverables which were given to me were delivered before time only. I'm not saying that it was a bit less of a work or a bit more of a work. I gave my 100% to be on time and to particularly be punctual on the deliveries. So, the appreciation also which I got was more on my punctuality and my adherence to the deadline.
Fantastic. So, what's your concept of? And I'm picking. See, just like an hiring manager, I'm picking up questions from your answers, and this is what, if the freshers are listening to me, this is what typically happens in an interview. So he talked about deadlines, and he was punctual. Was there a time that maybe you never missed deadlines? You were very punctual, for which we appreciate the award you got. But has there been a time when you're working with a team of small size or big team where a couple people are not meeting their goals, and but you still have a client deadline as one of the key members? Has there ever been such a scenario, and how does your team work with it, and what role do you play in there?
Yes, sir. So, particularly, I can remember one such situation of when we were a team of four, and as I have mentioned a lot of time, it was a pandemic time. So, one of my colleagues were facing some family issues in his home. So, like he was completely offline for like 4 to 5 days, and the entire work was left hanging in the middle of nowhere. But as you know, we have to deliver anything on time, be it any occasion or be it any disaster there. So for that particular instance, me as a team member and also like being a torch bearer to the darkness of my team member missing and he is not able to deliver the works on time, we along with my team members and my team lead also focused on it. So like we played a little bit of extra part on our sides to fulfill the requirements and to overshadow the not being able to like
The
deliver
gap
it.
created by the lack of by so you basically distributed the workload. You worked with your team lead to distribute the workload and manage the delivery to the client, and the client felt good because you were able to manage things on time. Now, was this an internal client? Because sometimes you work on internal projects, and sometimes there are external clients because Accenture has a lot of clients worldwide.
Yes,
um,
sir.
from many countries. You have, Accenture India, Accenture US operates completely differently from Accenture India. I have some of my friends are partners with Accenture, so I'm very well aware of the Accenture um, uh, landscape. So, what kind of project did you have, internal or external?
Sir, I had an external project. It was a UK-based telecom giant. Most of us must be knowing, like British Telecom. So, like I have been serving that particular client since the day I have joined, and have been thoroughly recognized as well as appreciated for the work I have delivered.
Fabulous. And I want the audience to notice how Shrestha is handling, because these are exactly the kind of questions, whether they ask you in a stress tone or whether they ask you in a soft tone, like how I'm using. But if you realize I as a hiring manager, but I'm pretending to be hiring manager, asking, I'm trying to learn and know about him as much as he's trying to learn and know about me towards the end of the interview. This is how it functions, guys. Okay. And I'm grateful to Shrestha that he's partnered with me in answering these questions one by one, very, very calmly. If you can see his face, there's absolute calmness, like a saint on his face. So this is how you need to A lot of people ask me, what should I wear for the interview? How should I dress up? What should I look like professionally? Now you can imagine it's a Friday evening where most of the guys, well, not most of the guys though. I mean, somebody would be in a pub, somebody will be gaming, somebody would be busy enjoying, dating. There are all kind of things guys and girls do to keep their Friday uh, very enjoyable. And look at what Shrestha is doing in right in front of you. He's helping all of us. He's helping all of us. So he's dedicating his time. This shows that he's very serious about his next profile, next interview, next upskilling. All those things are important things that we are learning from Shrestha live. Okay. So Shrestha, you finished your projects in uh, and you worked for some time with Accenture. So you are still working with Accenture. I mean, what is the most if you were to highlight one of the most valuable lessons that you've learned during your tenure so far, what are the top two lessons? Because every professional, whether we work for a small client or a big client or a small company or a big company, the kind of people we interact with, the kind of clients we work for, everything leaves an imprint on our minds. So, what would be your top two valuable lessons learned?
Yes, so like as I said, I was working for a client, and most of my majority of my role was a client-facing role, in which I was supposed to deal with the clients as well as the stakeholders. So for me, what I felt that top two skills which one should have along with all the technical skills and other skills which everyone has is a storytelling, and the other one is communicating well. So, like by storytelling is what I mean that even if we do a lot of deep dive in our work, even if we create a lot of interactive like reports or dashboards or any particular thing which we are working on, but if we are not able to like communicate with our client or communicate with the particular recipient to like explain what the work has been done, the entire work will go in vain.
Got you.
So,
Got you.
yeah. So, like as I mentioned, like this is one of the most important skills which I feel as being a experienced professional, like one must possess to being able to like explain themselves or to being able to like justify their work.
The audience must have noticed that I kept silent as a hiring manager for a minute, and that was deliberate, guys. Whenever you're a part of the interview, you will, um, sometimes the interview will go silent, and you might have a lot of doubts in your head. Can you remember what are the doubts that are going on in your head? Somebody please help me. Audience, please wake up and help me here. What are the kind of doubts that come to your mind when an interviewer goes silent for 1 minute? What happens?
If am I saying any wrong?
Yeah, am I saying anything wrong is the first thing that comes to mind. What else? Am I saying right or wrong? Did I give a proper answer or not? What else? Are they listening to me in the first place? Should I speak more? Should I speak louder? Did they want? So you can wait for the interview, because if you have finished your dialogue, you can wait. Like if you saw, yeah, is his network gone? What happened? Especially if this is an online interview. So Shrestha has handled this very well. If you can see it live, he's handled very well. He calmly, gave me the two most important valuable lessons learned, and he kept silent for a while. He did not, because a lot of people in this situation will start blabbering. They'll they'll start rambling, and they'll go on and on thinking all those things that you just talked about. So it is, if you see the interviewers silent even after a minute or 45 seconds, you can ask, I'd be happy to uh, share additional details should you want more. That's all you can say. But you don't keep on speaking. Don't keep on blabbering just because he's silent for a minute. That's a very important tip that I'm sharing with you guys. And as you can see how well Shrestha has handled it. The next question, Shrestha, to you is: I feel like I'm playing that अमिताभ का कौन बनेगा करोड़पति और आपके सामने आता है अगला सवाल $5,000 के लिए. Okay, so you worked on variety of data analysis projects. Have you ever encountered a situation कि जहाँ you yourself had unexpected or surprising insights? Because insight to aate aate. If you're given a task to work on a project, you will obviously prepare insights. You will analyze, you'll get the data, organize the data, clean the data, and all those steps will happen. You have a dashboard, and from the dashboards you're presenting insights. Did you have any unexpected insights from any of the data products that you handled?
Uh, Arun, I can't remember one such incident, but what I can remember is like there was a time we were preparing a particular report for a project for a particular quarter, and we weren't able to even after the work in the backend was correctly done, we weren't able to meet the target goals required for that. So when we deep dived into the backend, so we saw that it was a silly mistake. We just left one table out, like we didn't even consider that particular table, because of which our entire work was we haven't done anything. So and that took us 2 to 4 hours for us to find. Even all of our team members were as you said in the previous question, like we were just rapidly moving here and there, that what has happened, why it is not there, this that, but we forgot to look into basics. So when we deep dived into it, we just found out that the solution was right in front of us. We just chose not to look into it.
Got you. So again, sometimes the hiring manager, so this part is for the audience. Sometimes the hiring manager will pick up clues from what the candidate just said, and he might ask him a follow-up question. So for example, in Rakesh, I think your video has stopped. Yeah, now it's good. So sometimes the hiring manager will ask a follow-up question, right? So I'm doing it live right in front of you guys to help you understand, especially all those freshers who are about to take their interviews. So the question that I might ask Shrestha is, so you had a challenge and an unexpected problem, then you had a deep dive done to figure out a solution, and uh, you found it and you delivered the solution. What precautions are you taking for the future so that such incidences are not repeated in the future, or what were your lessons learned from it?
Yes, actually, as I mentioned, that it was just a silly mistake on our side, and we didn't focus on the basics. So, post that particular delivery, we focused and we created a step-by-step module processing ahead for our future projects and future deliverables. That we divided every part into a particular category, and we divided the entire project into 4 sections. So after each section is being completed, we just focused and revisited the entire section to not to reiterate the mistakes we have done in the past, so which helped us to overcome any such sort of mistakes in the end.
Shrestha, one interesting thing about, and sometimes the interview will completely switch the question, just like I'm about to do now. I was asking him about career, and now I can go and ask him, Shrestha, is the English your first language?
No, Arun. Most of us are in our country, Hindi is supposed to be my first language,
Right.
and
So how did you develop? Because a lot of youngsters here, the freshers, this sometimes they tell me, I don't have great communication skills, or I'm not the person who's motivated enough, or I don't have learning resources. What advice would you give? How can they develop communication skills and be better off in communicating their idea to the client in whatever language? I know English is the business language, fortunately or unfortunately. So what if you had to give one advice, how can they develop communication skills?
yes, sir. So the most foremost advice for developing a communication skill is to interact with people. You develop your skills by interacting with more and more people. be it of your genre, be it of your area or your concern. But you need to interact with new people and indulge with them, to which also helps in boosting your own self confidence. In return, which can help you in interviews, or which can help you in communicating with a particular client, to like accept and deal with them accordingly. So this will come with time only, after and all, like in your college days as well as in your school days or in your corporate life. The more people you meet, the more skills you develop in the communication field.
Exactly, exactly. I love your the answer that you've given, and I totally agree with you. Um, for somebody who's a fresh engineer, let's say you have to look, look at yourself. What? So let's say when you finished your engineering, you're probably around 19, 20 years of age, roughly, broadly, right? So, what advice would you give to your younger self? Because, or what advice, let's say Aniruddha or Prem Sai has just completed his engineering. I'm just giving an example because already an engineer MBA. But what if you meet a fresh engineer and he says, or a fresh graduate from any stream, and he says, "Sir, please help me come up with a roadmap for data analysis." And I would, if you had a younger brother and he said, "Bhaiya, I also want to join a good MNC like you. How should I go about it? I have just finished my BCom or BSc or BCA or BBA or BTech or whatever degree, graduate degree. What would you advise him?"
Yes. So, like in the field of data analytics, the first and foremost skill which is required, which many people tend to ignore, is Microsoft Excel. So there is a lot of hidden functions and a lot of hidden qualities which Excel possesses, which half of us won't even know, like they exist. Even I was surprised when I came to know like such functions exist in Excel also. So initially, one must build their skills around Excel and do a little bit of projects there as well. And if the particular person is not getting placed by the their placement cell or by the college authorities, they should go and hop for internships. So, like many people believe that internships are not the path to grow or to learn, but I contradict to it. Internships helps you develop your skills as well as your personality. The more the as an intern, if anyone is entering a particular work project or a smaller company, not an MNC, so you will develop, you will get the gist of what the work is and how the work is supposed to be done for your bigger path ahead.
Got you. So, you talked about internships as one method. Uh, so, most of the people who are data analysts, I mean, I see them going to Forage or there are at least 20, 30 places. And in the past, we created a list of places where you can go for internships. We have sent that document many times to many people. Uh, and we send interview questions, we do resume optimization, LinkedIn optimization, a lot of other things. And of course, Prem Sai and I are there to help you as well, because I know you need something from us too. So
Yes.
we want to make time for that. But how I guess a lot of people, when I see them, and I'm trying to put them in right words. When I see them, they will do their what they'll say, "I have done virtual internships," or "I've done." They really don't do any work. They think that internship is a certificate that you just take and sh- you know place it on the employer's desk and say, "ये देखो मेरा certification, अपुन किया है मालूम." ऐसा they will talk in Mumbai style. Vijay Dina Chauhan, the one from Agnipath, the old Amitabh movie or Hrithik Roshan movie. They'll wave the certificate. "Apun data list क्या मालूम, अपुन ये देखो ये माँ, ये मैं सर्टिफिकेट लेके आ गया, 3 सर्टिफिकेट लेके आ गया, I've done 5 Udemy courses, I've done 5 certifications." But they haven't really worked they don't know what is the value of one hard day's work, and they haven't paid attention to what they were supposed to learn in internships. So so what would be your advice for doing the internships properly?
Yes, sir. So the first and foremost advice would be like choose your career path with all your attention and all your precautions taken in mind. Like if you are choosing data analytics to be one of your career paths, you need to be interested through your heart and soul and giving your 100% to that particular field or domain. Like in order to success in that particular field, and also in the during your internship days. The first and foremost thing an intern or a new joinee should do that he or she should ask questions from their lead or ask for work if they don't have one, which many people don't do. They tend to go into their own comfort zone, and then after a certain period of time, they realize that we have just wasted the time, and these things are not coming into play for our future roles. So that's one of the things. Like you should interact. You should be a proactive member of a team to be able to like interact with your team lead or your managers asking for the work.
So, being a data analyst, Shrestha, we all know by now, well, at least the ones that are working professionals, or they have, or even if they're freshers and have interacted with their professor of business analytics or professor here and professor there and friends and LinkedIn network, they understand there are some 4 or 5 key competencies, must have skills and nice to have skills for a data analyst role. We are only talking data analyst today. We're not talking about engineer or scientist. So for the data analyst role, in your opinion, what are the top 5, top 3 or 4? You can, it doesn't have to be in order of priority, but can you mention some technical skills, and then can you also talk about some non-technical skills like functional domains or anything else that they should possess?
Yes, sir. So, like according to me, like the top 5 skills which every data analyst should possess, be it technical or be it soft skills. So, first of us, it Excel. The another one is SQL, and the another one is a BI tool, be it any Tableau or Power BI or Alteryx. But except that, one can learn all these 3 tools with time or with efforts or through certification or courses. But one must need to have a skill to storytell what you are doing. Like many of the teammates in my field also, like they are able to create a particular dashboard or a report, but they are not able to give a gist of what that particular dashboard or report is going to tell and how it is going to impact the business. Like being a client POV, it should let them know that how it will impact their goals and their finances or their futures. So storytelling and communication should be the in the top 5 skills which a data analyst should possess.
And that's true, because if I was your client and I'm, let's say I'm British Telecom, or I'm some big I'm utilizing your services, where I have BTech engineers and BAs and BScs, and they have they have done a lot of analysis work. We trust their brand name, and so we come to you and we say, I'm going to pay you like $50,000, or let's say $1 million for getting the insights. And it's always the insights. And I am very happy that you talked about storytelling, because there's not only the method of delivery has to be right, the insights have to show the business impacts. So I totally agree with you there. um, talk to me, how can I mean, I'm, let's say I'm a fresher who has somehow learned Excel from somewhere. I've learned Power BI. I've learned initially everybody tries to do Udemy, YouTube वगैरह, and later on they realize, let me do it properly, so they join a formal instructor. For example, we have Rushika Kale as one of the instructors. We have Muskan Handa from Microsoft. Rushika works with Philips, and these are great instructors. We have an Alteryx instructor in our group. His name is SK. He goes by the name SK, and we have Pawan Sai, whom we call as Power Sai. He's excellent at Power BI. We have Prem, who's an excellent mentor in LinkedIn optimization, resume optimization. Um, so we have all different kinds of people, very specialized people working professionally. For example, Muskan, whom I talked about, is a product manager now. She started as a data and software development, in a software development role, moved on to data analysis, and now she's a product manager. within a record time, within a very short time. And she's, apart from what she was doing, she cleared her GMAT, GRE. So we have some very talented instructors. So assume that the fresher has done a course through any XYZ methods. Talk to me a little bit more about storytelling. Is it like telling the story of a movie? For example, I watched the movie Gadar, which just released today, I believe. Sunny Deol ka movie hai, it released today. So how is storytelling in a movie, or there's another movie that which released, oh my god, that's the Akshay Kumar movie which is released today. There is also Mission Impossible 2 which released, I think, last week. So when we think about story, we think about stories that were taught by our grandmother, or some of us, if you remember, we used to read Nandan, Champak. You may not even know because this was read by the past generation. These days, kids have, and there was also a magazine called Target during those times. These days, kids have all kinds of Instagram reels and videos and YouTube shorts, and I don't even know. And there's so many platforms that I keep getting confused by what these people are even talking about. In fact, it was my 7-year-old, one of the 7-year-old kids who taught me Instagram for the first time. uh, Anyhow, so how is this storytelling uh, skill? How can that be developed? And what is storytelling in the first place?
Yes, Arun. Like, I would just like to correlate with the example you just gave us. Like, be it a movie. Like, if we are going to watch a movie, the movie has thorough cuts. Like, it started from somewhere. It has some tussles. It has some barricades. Then it went to a particular destination, like ending or an uh, particular desired area where it is supposed to be. So that is what a data analytics journey and a project in that is. Like, we are able to generate a report in that domain or that project, but eventually we need to tell our client that how we landed up there, including the roadblocks, how we started initially, how it went along, what went wrong, and eventually how step by step process we ended up meeting the required goals, and we ended up in our desired position which we are in. So that is what storytelling means. Not just like presenting a particular screen that this has been generated, you can get insights from this. That can be done. That can be done by anyone. But giving the insights on every metrics which you have used on that report or on that dashboard uh,
Yeah,
leaves an impact on the client.
how basically you are creating impact is by describing the
Yes,
insights, whatever visuals you have to not just give him the visual, just say, I have shoved it on your desk and now you can read all that. Because some people send you a resume and say, have you not received my mail? And they expect you to understand everything without having gone through the content and allowing us a chance to ask some questions. So that's how it really happens. A job too. People send some report to a boss and say, "Yeah, I sent it to you at 4 a.m. in the morning. Have you read it?" And you and I know that what it, where it, what happens after that. Uh, Anyhow, so well, thank you so much for sharing about this storytelling skills, and I'm sure people with practice and time will learn the skill. They will learn to sharpen their skills. I have 5 more minutes for this session to end. So what I'm going to do is, uh, all the questions that the audience could typically ask, 90% of those I've asked you myself. But
yes.
I will open it to the audience at this time, and they can ask one or two questions here and there. Like maybe we'll take up to four questions. Prem Sai, how much time do we have for Rushika's session? Has it already started, or do we have time? Earth to Prem Sai,
10 minutes.
5 minutes.
We have time for 10 minutes. Yeah,
Great, great,
5 to 10 minutes.
great. Thank you so much, Prem Sai, for scheduling and organizing that. Without you, nothing moves. So, guys, everybody should know that Prem Sai is the chief of operations for the entire COE. He basically organizes schedules. He does everything. He keeps me honest. He even threatens me. he bullies over me and tells me when I must start a session or stop a session. And so I'm always, I want to make sure I'm in his good books. uh, all right, so guys,
More
any so we have a few minutes where you guys can ask a question or two from Vashisht, sorry, Shreshth Vashisht.
yes. Moreover, like as Arun you said, that brain size is the backbone of the entire uh, work being done.
Okay, so Akshay Lakshmi BB is asking how to improve storytelling skills. And guys,
Uh,
please unmute this. You know, you got audience must understand that unless you're in office or unless you're suffering from a grave disease, please unmute yourself and ask questions, because this is how the interaction happens. It's not one-sided interaction where one person is sitting making time for you and he's giving the answers and you're like, oh, I learned the answer to 10 questions, now I can go. I can say bye bye Vashisht. Now I'm going away. I'm running. So if you want to really learn something, you have to ask a question or you comment on what you thought, what was the key takeaway from the. If there is one thing you've learned from this session, what is it? So either you ask a question or comment. But if you're going to sit mute, it's not going to help you. It's in your own benefit that you ask a question. So Nikhil has a question also. Yes, Nikhil, go ahead. Please unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank Shresh for such a wonderful session. So my question is how to build the storytelling skills. You mentioned like storytelling skills is essential for a data analyst or business analyst. How should one start like building on those skills?
Yes, Nikhil. Actually, as Arun sir mentioned earlier, that storytelling skills will come with you with time. The more and more projects you do, the more and more data sets you play with, the more and more deep dive you do in the particular project, which will help you convey your journey for the end result which you have landed in. So, like if you are in the e-commerce domain, so deep diving into it will let the client or the one you are presenting will let them know that the entire journey how it has been. So it will moreover come with time and more projects you do.
Exactly. And you know what I feel, Nikhil, about it is, and I think Shrestha has already said without saying it openly, but I know where he was going with the answer. He's basically indirectly telling you that is that look for feedback from colleagues, from mentors, from seniors, because it's not enough. Because I'm seeing a lot of people in the COEs, they're just posting something and they're saying, hey, here's my project, and they're done with it. They are not, they are doing it to promote themselves. I can understand, because everybody has to promote themselves on LinkedIn, and that's okay with me. But if you're not going to look for genuine feedback, if you're not going to reach out to the resources you have, because I know Roshika, or you know, Prem Sai, Pavan Sai, Muskan Handa, SK, all of these people are willing to give their feedback. Of course, you have to give them some time because they have a full-time job. I'm also sure that somebody like Shreshth Vashisth, if you ask him a question nicely, smile with a good smile and a good attitude, I'm sure he can give you some more pointers. Um, and sh- sh- so that's how you learn a particular skill. You put yourself out in front of people, even though you feel like, oh, I'm going to feel like a fool, he's going to correct my mistake. Because yeah, be crispy. Kartika is right in saying be crisp in asking questions. You ask the right questions and you're going to get a good response. uh, because people like Shreshth Vashisth are examples, are great examples of how a senior person is in an organization, right? Any other question, guys?
Please feel free and to unmute yourself and ask your queries or doubts. Like, it will only help in improving your communication skills.
And at the same time, we are going to learn something too out of you. It's not like one sided that we are not learning anything. For example, I'm learning that 90% of my audience likes to keep mute. Prem Sai, yes. What's the question you have?
Okay. Yeah, hi, Shrestha. So
Hi.
my question is, you have been working with Accenture since some time, and I'd like to ask something like, what are the, I mean, if it's if you would like to answer this, what are the perks or what are the pros and cons working at a good and big scale organization like Accenture? Because Accenture is considered as one of the top rated organizations.
Yeah.
So,
So,
would
so
you like
Prem Sai,
to,
I
if
really
you,
admire Prem Sai, I admire your question. I think you've asked a great question because some people get a chance to work for big MNCs and good brand names like Accenture, Google, Amazon, Facebook, British Telecom, and all those kind of things. Some people join a little lesser known organization. So the question, Shrestha, obviously is pretty clear. I know you have worked for big names, so and maybe some of your friends from your batch or elsewhere, are working for smaller organizations. Do you think, in general, even though you may not have worked for a small organization, what do you feel in general uh, when you had communications with these people? What's the difference?
So, like the most important difference which I am able to notice in a big firm or a small organization is the lack of communication and the lack of clarity in between the team members or the team leads. So, like in an organization like Accenture, there is a certain sound clarity in between your entire team. If most of the times you land up in a good project with the good colleagues or good seniors, so that helps you along with to grow. That helps you to interact and what I felt is after interacting with one of my friends who is working in a smaller organization is that there is a lack of communication in between the teams. They are just coming and doing the work without any discussion like how it should be done, like
Yeah, and some and
by
some.
discussion only.
So sorry,
Yes, yes.
I had a I got some clue from your answer, and I want to add that a lot of times in a smaller organization, people suffer from a hero complex because everything
Yes.
is, if I'm not there, nothing is going to happen. I'm never going to delegate anything to anybody. I'm not going to collaborate. मैं सब कुछ करके दिखाऊंगा because my next promotion, everything is dependent on that. In bigger organizations like Accenture, like Google, you have a process. The process is more important than the person. If and everybody follows a methodology. So Accenture has a wonderful methodology. I know for a fact any big organization has a great methodology on how they go about doing their things. The caliber of people that they have, the caliber of people that they select are different. Um, and in a smaller organization, apart from suffering from the hero complex, Shrestha also talked about, sometimes you will not collaborate or communicate with others just because you want to prove that you're the best. So, I mean, there are many, many differences. So, for those people in the audience who are listening to this, I would like you to consider Prem Sai's question as one of the most important questions because this is the kind of question you could be even asked at an interview. Please Google the answers, come back to me, talk to Prem Sai uh, with the expected answers, and we'll help you refine those answers because this is a very, very important interview question as well. Anybody else? I need one question from Sachin Dubey or Vishal Kumar or Vishnu or Ravi before I close the call. Yes, sir. Ravi, Sajan, Vishal, somebody who has not spoken at all.
Please don't hesitate.
Hi Arun, hi Shrestha.
I
I have a question regarding Excel.
Yes,
Like, what is the like point of view for data analysis? Like, Excel is huge.
yes.
What is the top perspective for the analysis point of view?
So if I
uh,
rephrase this question is basically, I mean, although Shrestha has probably understood what you're trying to ask, but you're saying Excel has a variety of features and functions. What features? I mean, everybody knows how to do sum and average and basic things in Excel. 2 plus 2 is
Exactly.
4, 4 plus 4 is 8. What are some of the functions that a typical data analyst of let's say 1 or 2 years experience should know or should learn?
or a
Yes,
fresher?
another. So I suppose that this is one of the most important tools to be learned for the data analytics field. Like it is not just a sum or addition or an aggregation tool. Like if you go and use pivot tables or if you go and use VLOOKUPs, you can just deep dive into that data without any business intelligence tool, without using any BI tools or without going any further on any other tool or relying on any other domain or a particular website. Excel has a lot of depth in it. So, like if I just say that in Power BI, you are supposed to create a chart with two tables and two honors, that then you can do it. You can just connect it and you can visually create it. So, if you tend to do it in Excel, you can just create a pivot table to get the gist of what the outcome is supposed to be looking like. So, such things help you more, in reading your data.
So Akshaya Lakshmi is also seconding and asking the same question in a different way. She's saying she has understood you, but if you could highlight, like, I mean, I know you named Power Pivot, horizontal and vertical lookups. Those are the two important stuff apart from the sum, average, min max functions, date time functions. What are some of the advanced Excel features that you are using currently in your day-to-day role? When you joined for the first time and you spent your first year, what were the most common functions that you used on a daily basis or on a weekly basis in
Yeah,
your
so one of the most important functions which I still look up to, like after 2 to 3 years of my career, is the VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, which helps you like search and fetch the data from multiple tables, not only from a single table. Like it is supposed to be one of the most important functions which you will use when you are dealing with multiple data sets from different schemas.
so so apart from these two, can you name any Power Pivot? Is there anything else that has been useful to you?
So in my particular domain, I have mostly used these functions only, and for a certain period of time, I have been familiar to date and time functions, which has helped me achieve the desired goal using the Excel only.
And of course, people have to understand those charting functions and all other typical features that Excel has. But thank you
Yes.
for sharing the top 2 or 3 functions that you feel like Power Pivot, horizontal, vertical lookups that are very important. Um, okay, we have time for one last question. Who's it going to be? Who wants to ask the last question before we wrap up this meeting? Come on, guys. You will
Can I ask again?
Yes.
sure go ahead.
Yeah, I was just confused about Power Query in Excel.
Yes. So, like, what do you want to know about it?
Yeah, it in Power Query is also important in Excel.
Yes.
I just that was my doubt.
Ah,
I was starting with Excel and it's so huge that I want to know about only the data analysis point of view. So these were my points and you cleared it. Thank you, Suresh. Thank you, Arun.
Yeah, but I would like you to talk to Muskan Handa after this session. Reach out to her when she's not having a class or office work. Reach out to her because she is simply excellent, and of course, she is the master guru of Excel. Sorry, Excel and SQL. So you can reach out to her. She will help you answer this question in a very detailed way because we are really short of time right now. But of course, yeah, Power Query is a very important feature as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
so
I was in a SQL tutorials.
Got you. Oh, you were in. I think you should join her class because the way joining the class through a instructor is you don't have to look for 100 things. You just follow their class, and within no time you will master those concepts which are most likely asked. Because when you're working with a professional, they not only they're not like ordinary teachers. So for somebody, if you're learning something from Shrestha, he comes with actual experience. he can talk about his professional work and how those things are used. And when if a person like Shrestha is teaching or Muskan Handa is teaching you, you will learn 100 times more than a person who has gone through Udemy or Coursera or XYZ, places, because you learn professional and practical experience. I think the last question I think Akshaya Akshaya is very active and she has asked the last question for today. Akshaya, sorry, your question ran away from the screen. Can you ask it again? Okay, yeah, I got it. I got it. So she's asking, although this question has been, I think you've answered this question. You have to say how how you got into Accenture in short. And which is
Uh,
added, बड़े मजे में उसने ऐड किया है लास्ट मिनट में वर्ड इन शॉर्ट.
Yes, actually, as I have earlier mentioned also, like Accenture was a recruiter in my college, so like it was a college placement for me, and I didn't had to like go to Accenture or a referral for that.
So adding to Akshaya's humor, I'll say, can you also say, every time when somebody is hired, they have a perception on why was I hired, among others, because there were several candidates, and Accenture was one of the companies that came to your campus, and they selected Shreshth Vashisth. So what were the top three things about Shrestha as a weakness or a strength that they found recruitment worthy? So if you have to describe your strengths and weaknesses, what would they be? Name one of each.
Okay, sure. So, like my strengths during my college days and the placement activity was like my skills, which were highlighted in my resume, and also the internships which I had done, and also I have mentioned a few projects which I had done in my college days. So, like that helped me keep my profile stand out of the entire pool of students or people getting to be hired.
So besides the fact that your actual internship, your actual work, your perhaps your grades at the college, all those things are important. But what about your personality skills? Did you have good problem solving skills or critical thinking, or what do you think motivated them to hire you? In your own words, I know you cannot read their mind, but what do you think? What kind of skills, what kind of competencies that you developed because of which you think that you were hired?
Yes, actually, sir, I just asked this question after the my interview ended. I asked the interview that what were the skills or what were the skills that I possessed which you like, and what will be my chances for that particular role. So, like, I got a feedback, and not only from Accenture or from many other companies as well, that you are great in communication, and also they threw some situational based questions on me to like just test my problem solving skills or my critical thinking ability in short period of time. So like I was just able to outperform the other pool of students, so
And
which
of
I feel.
course, like you've described today, you are probably able to give the examples, specific examples of how you give me, like people ask you typically, give me a time where you exhibit the skill. I'm sure you did all of that as
Yes,
examples when you're describing yourself, or they could read from a resume or whatever.
yes.
The absolutely last question is from Vishnu Prasad. Do you have any tips? I mean, you had a campus placement, and your hard work rewarded itself. But what do you might have seen a lot of friends, some junior friends of yours, or some juniors in the college which you studied in. They might say, "Can you tell us how can we get into big companies like Accenture off campus?"
Uh,
What would be a generic answer? What would be an honest and truthful answer to those people who want to apply to Accenture kind of companies? I'm not saying just Accenture type of companies.
yes, any of the companies.
हाँ, तो उनको क्या करना चाहिए? Uh,
So, like on my experience, what I can say is that one of my friends wanted to enter my company post 6 months of our education and post 6 months of our college life. So, like the thing which worked for him was a referral given by the employee of that particular company.
Got
So
you.
in the current market scenario, also I think that referrals and reaching out to people and connecting new people of that particular
Absolutely.
company is
I
necessary.
totally agree with you because referral has a very special place in hearts of all the recruiters. Referrals are the most important way of, and therefore you must network not only with your mentors, your colleagues, your seniors. You have to have a good, you need to learn how to build good relationships, professional relationships. I'm not talking about dating relationships. Uh, Well, with that, thank you so much, Shrestha. This has been an eye-opening session for majority of freshers. I really thank you that you, although you had come to us with a question, I just said, I told you, why don't we do a session? And you have been extremely helpful. And now it's our turn to get back to you. So I'm nominating Prem Sai and myself to get back to you on your question really soon. We have a class with the Rushika Kale, our Power BI expert. We have to sit in the class for certain reason because we serve everybody. So
Yes, yes.
we have a prior commitment, and we'll get back to you pretty soon. In the meantime, really, with the bottom of my heart, really thank you, and I'm offering, just like I offered to everybody, I'm offering you my love, my thumbs up, my flowers, my claps, and I know that most of the audience members are also joining me to do the same. Thank you so much. We're going to end this session. I'm going to finish the recording, and I'm so happy. I'm sure, Shrestha, Did you enjoy the session at all? At all?
Yes, Arun sir. I would just like to mention that people like you or Prem Sai, like being such so senior in that particular field, giving a chance to me to interact with people and explaining my story. It's a pleasure for me, and it was an opportunity which I didn't want to miss. So I just completely agreed when you asked. So like
The
it's been a learning for me also.
For me too, for us too. I mean, in spite of it, the seniority, juniority, we don't care about. What we care about is learning, sharing things openly, and learning from each other. We are ordinary human beings that have passion for interaction. And
Yes,
Prem Sai, Shrestha, one fun thing you have to, if you have to get Prem Sai on your side, you must learn that he loves anda burji, the eggs. He's called the Eggman. So we have Superman, Batman, and then you have the Eggman. And Prem Sai loves eating eggs. So anytime you send him the icon of anda, the egg, he will listen. You will be on his top priority list.
sure, sure. I would make one such anda bhurji and a kadak chai with Prem Sai. I won't forget for long run.
Alrighty. With that, thank you. I'm going to stop the recording and end the session.